There is a moment before every trap closes when the prey could still run. The crowns of Blackflint knew this. It was why they never closed a trap with force if they could close it with a kindness, a law, or a lie. On the dark of the moon, Lord Sael did not send guards to drag Kai to the reading hall. He sent an invitation. Polite, reasonable, impossible to refuse without proving everything Sael needed proven. And Kai, who had learned every lesson this island had to teach, walked into the trap with his eyes open, because it was the only place the trap could be broken. The summons came at dusk, sealed in sail white, and it was a masterpiece of its kind. To Kai, called No House. The school requires that every marked child be read and recorded. Yours alone remains unread, 5 months on, an irregularity the houses can no longer permit. You will present yourself at the reading hall at the dark of the moon for a formal reading. Refuse, and by the first law, you are held unproven, and an unproven mark may be lawfully removed from the island. Attend and be recorded, and take at last your lawful place. The choice, as ever, is yours. It's a death sentence dressed as a form, Wren said. She had not slept. Neither had Kai. The hours since her confession had been spent in furious, whispered planning in the tower room. 2 frightened children against the oldest power on the island. If you don't go, Sael's law throws you in the sea. If you go, he straps you to the glass and hollows you out. There's no version where you don't walk into that room. I know, Kai said. I'm going to walk into it. He looked at her. The question is what happens once I'm on the class. And that's the part I can't do alone. Kai told her everything Ka had given him, the glass that pulls, the hunger that turns inward, and the one desperate way to break it. To stop resisting, to open fully, to feed the machine faster than it could swallow until it choked on the sea and unmade itself. It might take half the fortress with it, Kai said. Ka warned me. I don't know how to aim something that big. He swallowed, and I don't know if I can stop. That's the real fear, Wren. Not the glass. Me. If I open all the way, everything I've got, no holding back, I don't know if there'll be a Kai left who can close it again. I might break the glass and just keep going until I'm the grey thing in the dark room. So that, Wren said slowly, is why you need me. Yes, Kai said. I need someone outside the hunger, someone to be the reason. Ka said it. You have to be unmaking towards something, always, or it eats you. I need you there, where I can see you, so that when I'm pouring everything down that machine's throat and the hunger's screaming to keep going, there's one thing in the room I want to stop for. He met her eyes. But your house ordered you to be elsewhere, to let it happen. So I can't ask. I won't put that on you. I just needed you to know that if you were there, it might be the thing that saves me. And if you're not, I understand. You warned me on the first night. You told me not to trust you. Wren sat very still for a long moment. Then she stood and crossed to the window and looked out at the dark where the old moon had gone down and made the choice she had been carrying like a coal for 3 days. I've been a Moran my whole life, she said. I never once got to choose what I was. She turned back, and her face was wet and certain. Tonight I choose. Not the house. You. She almost laughed. They'll skin me. It's the most expensive thing I'll ever do, and I'm doing it for a boy with no name and no house, and a hole in his arm. She crossed to him and gripped his cold hands. I'll be there, where you can see me. I'll be your reason. Now let's go break a 300-year-old machine and find out if we live. The reading hall was full. Sael had made it a ceremony, the crowns seated in their colours, the students ranked behind, the whole island summoned to watch the unreadable boy finally read. Thrace was there in Varn blue, her scarred face unreadable. Lady Moran in green-grey, her eyes finding the empty space where Wren was supposed to be standing, and then finding Wren, standing instead at the front, beside Kai, in plain sight, in open defiance, and going very, very still. Lord Sael stood beside the reading glass, and beneath it, exposed now, the deep mechanism, a thing of black iron and old gears, built 300 years ago and prayed over and never used. Press your wrist to the glass, Sael said gently. Let us see you at last. Kai stepped onto the platform. He found Wren's face in the crowd front, fixed on it, made it his reason. And he pressed the thin black ring on his wrist to the cold, dark glass. Sael turned the mechanism. The pull, when it came, was unlike anything Kai had imagined. It was not cold. It was a hand reaching down through his mark into the very root of him, gripping the hunger and dragging it outward through the one channel that could not hold it, his own self. He felt it begin, the inward turn, the gift starting to eat the boy who carried it, exactly as Kor had warned. His grief went first, scraped at the edges. Then his fear. He felt himself beginning to hollow. Now, Kai thought, with the last clear thought he might ever have. And instead of resisting the pull, he opened. He gave the machine everything. Every scrap of hunger he'd spent 5 months hiding. Every flame he'd swallowed in the practice hall. Every spell he'd unmade in the duel. The whole black sea of the 8th house pouring through his mark and down the throat of a mechanism built to take only a sip. He did not hold back. He did not aim. He simply opened the door at the bottom of himself all the way and let the unmaking flood out faster than 300 years of iron could drink. The mechanism took it. For 1 heartbeat. 2. Drinking, drinking. The dark pain of the glass blazing with a blackness that hurt to look at. And then it choked. The reading glass, the great dark pain that had read every child on the island for 300 years, shuddered, rang one final enormous note, and unmade. It did not shatter into pieces. It ceased. Pain and frame and the deep black mechanism beneath it, dissolving all at once into a roaring column of grey dust that blew outward through the hall and snuffed every flame and lamp and torch in a single breath. The fortress went dark. Not the ordinary dark of a moonless night. The total dark of the practice hall. The dark of the glass. Spreading outward from the platform as the hunger, finely loosed, reached past the broken machine for anything else it could eat. The candles, the lamps, the warmth of 1,000 watching bodies, the very stone, and Kai, hollow and roaring and barely a boy at all, felt the hunger turn toward the crowd, toward all that bright living warmth, and felt how easy, how good, how endless it would be to simply keep going. He could not find the reason to stop. He had given too much. There was not enough Kai left to want anything. Then a hand closed over his marked wrist. A real hand, warm, gripping hard. Kai, Wren's voice said, very close, in the absolute dark. I'm here. You can stop now. I chose you. Don't make me have chosen a grey thing in a dark room. Stop. Build something. Come back. And Kai, with the last ember of himself, found the reason. Found her hand, her voice, the one thing in the roaring dark he wanted to stop for, and closed the door at the bottom of himself. and pulled the hunger back in. The dark did not lift gently. The wall lamps caught one by one, the way they always did after Kai, flickering back into a hall full of grey dust and stunned silence, and 1,000 people who had just watched the unreadable boy unmake the oldest machine on the island. Kai stood swaying on the platform, hollow and emptied and alive, Ren's hand still locked around his wrist, the only two upright figures in a hall of people slowly realizing what they had seen. Lord Sael rose from where the blast had thrown him. His careful, century-long plan lay in grey dust at his feet. The glass was gone. The mechanism was gone. The secret was out. Every soul in the hall had now seen unmaking with their own eyes, and there would be no burying the 8th house a second time. For the first time since Kai had known him, Lord Sael's bloodless face showed something raw. Not fear. Worse, for Kai. Recognition. So, Sael said softly, into the ringing dark. There it is. After 300 years. He looked at the boy swaying on the platform, at the grey dust of his family's great machine. You should know, child, that you have not won. You have only made it impossible for me to be quiet. He drew himself up, white and silver and very cold. I will go to the other crowns. I will tell them what you are, what you have always been, and I will remind them why their grandfathers buried your house alive. You have not escaped the 7. You have simply woken all of them. He turned to go and paused. Enjoy the dawn. You have made it a very crowded one. And he swept out to wake an island's worth of old fear, leaving Kai standing in the dust of the broken glass, no longer hidden, no longer unproven, no longer no one. Known at last by everyone as exactly the thing they had spent 3 centuries teaching themselves to dread. That was Sigil and Ash, Episode 9, The Night the Glass Broke. The story concludes its first season in Episode 10, Ash and Crown. Subscribe so you don't miss the finale.